General Hasnain was raising, Ambassador Sikri, and I want to quickly bring in Geeta Mohan also into this conversation. Ambassador Sikri, Ashley Tellis saying or using words to the effect, and somebody who played a very critical role at one point of time in firming up the ties between the two countries, talking about the India-US civil nuclear deal at that time, right now saying India is not a reliable partner. Just because India has an independent foreign policy on Russia-Ukraine or on Russian oil, are we seen as unreliable? Is that a genuine apprehension in the US?
I know. I think Ashley Ellis has made a wrong assessment. I think a lot of his co-partners on the think tank circuit have also come to the same conclusion, that there is absolutely no reason for him to say that India is not a reliable partner. In fact, India is renowned for its reliability. It's renowned for its principled stand on all issues. I mean, let's take even the stand that India has taken on the Russia-Ukraine war. It may be different from the US stand, but the US appreciates India's stand. The US accepts India's stand. And the USA fully goes along with what India is doing. They understand what India is doing. And Prime Minister Modi's statement to President Putin of Russia that this is not the era of war, that we stand for peace through dialogue and diplomacy. Now, this has been appreciated the world over, and I think today India is being recognized more and more as a big factor that could bring about peace in the Russia-Ukraine war. So I think that this is all a reflection of the trust and affection and high regard in which Prime Minister Modi is held by his equals around the world, by heads of government and heads of state around the world. And this is the great standing in which India is being held in the USA. And we are seeing it not only in statements by the Indian diaspora, who are so wonderfully active, as we can see on your screen, but also by the statements by American leaders, by both houses of Congress. It's a bipartisan opinion on India. This is amazing, because today, when the Democrats and the Republicans are at each other's throats on anything political in America, and they're completely polarized, but on India, they have complete unanimity of opinion, and they are writing to the president, all of them, across the board, saying, please develop the relationship, please strengthen the relationship. We think we need to do more and more. And even some American members of Congress who earlier on were not so well disposed to India have changed their mind and have now thrown in completely with India in favor of strengthening the Indo-US bilateral partnership in all areas. And I think that the reflection of the progress in the Quad is a tremendous reflection of the high regard which India is held with in the rest of the world, which will be reflected, I'm sure, in the decisions of this visit that Prime Minister Modi has just started. He has just landed in New York, and we welcome that.
Okay. You know, if we were to just break this down in terms of military hardware for a moment, the Stryker armored fighting vehicles, the joint, the JDAMs, the munition, the ammunition that India is talking about, the unmanned combat aerial vehicles, and 30 of those, whether it's the Reapers, the Predators, or the Sea Guardians. General Hasnain are okay. This is the latest image that we are just getting from New York, images of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's convoy. That's the convoy that has arrived to receive Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and this convoy will take him to his hotel. This is a state visit, the first state visit by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Its significance, symbolism, the impact, the assessment in the United States of America, and what Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been saying all along, that this is India's moment. General Hasnain, the military hardware, is it all aimed at China?
See, Gaurav, from 1991, when General Kekalaitar visited India and commenced the whole process of re-establishing the Indo-American strategic relationship. At that time, it wasn't such. The relationship only got established much later. But since then, the kind of progress that we have made has been tremendous. It's now that the real cementing and the fructification is taking place on the basis of the trust which has been established over the last 30 years or more. I would say yes, definitely all the hardware that you have just spoken about. Not only that, but in the recent past, the aircraft, the helicopters which have come, the anti-ship missiles which we have received, and now the aircraft engines. And of course the drones, the 31 drones that we are likely to receive at a cost of, well, almost $3.5 billion. It shows that the trust between the two countries has reached a level where India now has the confidence of the United States. And obviously there's no doubt about it that the major part of the targeting is towards the threat which comes from China. When you look at international geopolitics, Gaurav, it's a question of a balance of power. China is trying its best to ensure that it tilts the balance of power towards itself. Now, the game is going on where India is virtually like a swing power. It's a country which, whichever side it goes, whichever side it cooperates with, whichever side with which it establishes a trust, is the one which will probably have a greater balance, a greater part of the balance of power. And that is what is the importance of Indo-American relations today. Obviously, therefore, the weaponry which you talk about is establishing a huge trust between the two countries, and this is just the beginning. Transfer of technologies are going to take place, defense manufacturing is going to take place.
That's the aspect I was coming to, the defense manufacturing. Fighter jet engine technologies, and since you're a fighter pilot yourself, Admiral Sinha, from HF-24 experience to LCA to Kaveri engine not coming, how would you as a fighter pilot view this? What kind of transfer of technology are you looking at? And does this mean that America is actually opening its home and its heart for India if jet engine technology is being shared?
Gaurav, this is a very major breakthrough. Nobody would share the minor details which goes in making the jet engine. You know, the manner in which the titanium alloy is bent, the manner in which it is, the angles are achieved for the air to pass through, the burnt air. So I think that I would say that this is a big transformation. It's going to give India the capability of making more types of jet aircraft in the future. Immediately to engine the Tejas aircraft, both Tejas land version and the shipboard version. But I have a feeling that it will also help in developing further to get you the AMCA. One more point that I wanted to make, just an addition, you mentioned about is China the target. Gaurav, China is not the target. China is actually the catalyst in all this relationship. This relationship was moving gradually, as General Atta Hasnain mentioned. But in fact, I go back to 1993 when we first started the Malabar exercise as a bilateral naval exercise.
Yes.
And look at it where it has reached. Now it has become a multinational. So I would say that this would have happened. This would have happened maybe later if China was not the catalyst. So catalyst has actually increased the pace of reaction. I mentioned this to one of their state councillor, Dai Bingu, who was the boundary negotiator. He had asked me once, he said, when do you think Quad will become militarized? I mentioned to him, Excellency, it all depends on China. It depends on your country. The faster you needle us, the faster we will become a militarized. So I think that time has come to take that trust to a level where you see the jet engine. Not only this, there will be a lot of high technology transfer or co-development and co-production, particularly in artificial intelligence, 5G, 6G communication networks, which is yet to see the world. So I think that we are actually looking for a very different kind of India-US relation and different kind of India as a prepared military power. Gaurav.
Okay.